Hi everyone! In this Breaking Down the Pose video, we're going to talk about plank. Plank usually is one of the sort of rude awakening poses when I teach it in class. You would see some people struggle, some people are able to hold it. So in this video, I'll give you a few tips on how you can efficiently hold plank. And then once you break down the efforts, and once you're already used to bringing all of the efforts together, maybe try holding plank for 5 breaths, see how that feels, and then work towards holding it a bit longer, maybe 10 cycles of breath, and then maybe holding it for a minute, or maybe 2 minutes, or maybe a bit longer if you're looking at building strength, maybe building core strength, or you're just possibly wanting to break a world record in holding plank. So enjoy. Hey, so before we break down plank, I want to explain how it would feel when you're standing up. Okay, so essentially, you're trying to find Tadasana or mountain pose, and then we bring the hands forward, and it's easy, you're already in plank. But oftentimes, when we're already on the floor, it feels a whole lot different. And see if you can make a mental memory with your hands in front. And then later on, we'll differentiate how it feels when your hips are sagging down. So from standing up, essentially the belly is reaching forward. So when you're on the mat, it means the belly is reaching for the floor. And it won't feel very good on your lower back. And then sometimes people will reach their butt back and it won't feel like it's a very accessible plank. So what we're trying to find is a neutral spine from this position and taking it down to the floor. Now, before we find full plank or before we press up, let's break down the efforts first. Okay? So you set up your hands about shoulder width apart, and then see if you can spread the fingers wide so that when you press down, you feel your weight evenly distribute on the palms. And then from here, let's differentiate between dropping the chest and pressing away from the mat. So essentially what you want to find is the in-between. Okay? So maybe round first, and then maybe exaggerate the opposite way, and then find in between. Okay? And then together with pressing away from the hands, you should feel your upper back is solid. And then notice how your head feels or where it's situated with regards to your shoulders. So for some, there might be a tendency to drop the head below the shoulders. See if you can also press the back of the head towards the ceiling. And then that would make for a very solid upper back. And then from here, let's also differentiate the effort that you need to work in the legs. Oftentimes, when people already push up to plank, all of the efforts are on the shoulders and on the hands, that we tend to forget that the legs also have to be working. So as an exercise, grab a block, okay, place it between the inner thighs, and then when you squeeze your legs towards the thighs, okay, you will feel the inner thighs work. Okay. Now, before we find plank, maybe what you'll do, we'll find a floating tabletop. So activate the efforts from the hands, spread the fingers wide, press away, find your in-between so you have that neutral spine. And of course, brace at the belly so that your core is active. And then squeeze the thighs so that you feel the block. The block is giving you feedback. And then you'll just float the knees up an inch away from the mat. Okay? And then notice all of the efforts here because they will be similar efforts when you extend the legs towards plank. And then we'll bring the knees down. Okay? We'll set the block to the side. Okay? And then from here, now we're ready to find plank. So set up the hands again, press away from the mat, set up the upper back, the shoulders, the back of the head, pressing away. And then when you're ready, you'll extend one leg, followed by the other leg. Okay. Remember the block between the thighs. Hold here. And you can even shift the weight forward, shift the weight back, and then see how that feels for you. Okay. And then a lot of the pushing away factor not just comes from the hands, but also the legs. So if I bend my knees slightly, pressing up towards the ceiling. And then you can hold here for a few cycles of breath. And then when you're ready to come down, we'll bring the knees down on the mat. And then you can find child's pose to rest after plank. So I hope you enjoyed doing plank, and maybe after the video you were able to hold it for somewhere in between 5 or 10 cycles of breath. So I would like to thank you for watching. This is Ever Yoga by Jo and Daya, sharing everyday yoga for everybody.